Hey everyone, Wyduck here again, this time with Game 1 of a Best of 7 series. This is the Grand Finals of the Dreamhack Winter 2013 edition. And this time on Frost, spawning in the bottom right as the Red Zerg. Representing South Korea and Team Startale, we have Life. And Life's opponent, who was able to defeat him 2-0 in the winners bracket, spawning in the top left as the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid and South Korea, we've got Taeja. Really nice icon there for Team Liquid, and it looks like Taeja might have the upper hand here. Now, if you do remember a few rounds ago, Taeja went head-to-head against Life in a best-of-3 series, and Taeja was able to win it flawlessly 2-0, sending Life to the losers final. Life was able to recuperate in the losers final in that best-of-5 against Patience, winning the series 3-1 quite handedly in games 1, 2, and 4. But of special note, Life did lose game 3 to Patience on this very map, so it'll be interesting to see if Frost is the Achilles heel of Life. Is that going to lend Taeja some even more support to end this a lot quicker, or is Life going to be able to overturn that 0-2 record in this tournament against his Terran opponent? Now, Taeja is a very, very good player, and it looks like right now he's actually going to be going for the 14cc on the low ground. And, I mean, if you're going to do this tactic, you might as well do it on a 4-player map, because the chance of your opponent scouting you immediately is only 33%, and since they have cross-spawn locations, Life is not going to be able to see this command center anytime soon. The Overlords are just so slow. So Life is going to be going for that hatchery himself on that low ground, just like he did in the previous round against Patience. It looks like Life is going to opt for an early hatchery and then possibly an early third hatchery before getting a spawning pool. It looks like he will be getting 2 hatcheries and then a spawning pool in this matchup. And Taeja, you know, back to Taeja, he's been doing really well this year. He's won a few tournaments already. He's won the Home Story Cup, the 7th edition. He also won the Summer Aces ROG, the Republic of Gamers tournament, as well. So Taeja really knows how to put some wins together. I believe he also came in third/4th place in WCS Season 2 as well. So he is a very good, accomplished Terran player, and as good as Life is, it'll be really difficult to see if Life can bounce back and try and beat the wily Terran player. Because, like I said, he has been defeated 2-0 in the previous round by Taeja, so he'll be looking for some revenge here. But this is a brand new final, so it doesn't really matter what happened in the past. What really matters is what happens now. So Taeja looks like he's going to be bunkering up as well as building a factory behind his first barracks. So are we going to see some Hellion play come out of Taeja? It'll be interesting to see. Life, on the other hand, is chasing away Taeja's scouting SCV. He doesn't have that third hatchery up yet. Interesting, because in the previous games against Patience, he really got that third hatchery up quite quickly. And maybe that's just identifying who you're playing against, what race you're playing against, what map you're on, and maybe you want to try some different tactics. And what we have coming out of Life, actually, interestingly enough, is we do have Zergling speed about 70% done. So this is a lot quicker than in the previous matchup against Patience. Excuse me. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out. Now, Taeja able to save that SCV with just 1 hit remaining. So great save by Taeja. No resources or units lost for either player. And Taeja's finally going to be able to finish off this wall off with the remaining last 2 supply depots. Now these Zerglings are not going to be able to do anything, even with the Zergling speed completed. And it looks like I was correct. We're going to be seeing a few Hellions coming out, as well as an early third command center. You got to look at the timing here. It's about the 7.5-minute mark when he started constructing the third command center. So this is a really risky play by Taeja, because if Life is able to identify this correctly, if he's able to scout this, or maybe just lucky if he starts building some roaches, then he might be able to squish Taeja, but looks like Life is going to be opting for a third base of his own. Now, Life's Overlord is going to be able to spot this tech lab and that barracks, but nothing else. So he's not going to be able to see that factory, but he has been able to see the Hellion, so he does know that there is a factory somewhere. So Taeja is not going full barracks, as of yet anyways. Now Life's third base is almost up and running as well. So both players opting for that economic advantage. We're only 9 minutes in, and both players are already almost done their third mining base. So this is very interesting. Neither player wants to be really aggressive. But it looks like Taeja, with the Hellions, is going to be able to pick off quite a few creep tumors, able to destroy 2 creep tumors. That is a very good pickup by Taeja. You want to try and prevent that Zerg player from spreading all that creep everywhere. Because once that creep spread gets around everywhere, obviously it multiplies. It just becomes so rampant across the map, giving the Zerg player so much vision and speed. And so as a Terran player, you want to try and minimize that. Now, we do have 1-1 on the way from Life. We only have... And, oh, actually, we do also have 1-1 on the way for Taeja as well. So it looks like the upgrade advantage is not going to go to either player. And Life is going to be putting down some more creep tumors. And once again, the Hellions do come in, able to pick off 1. 1 does get canceled. It's a good move by Life. And Taeja is just roving around with these Hellions, not giving Life an advantage to really maximize that creep spread. And I know I always say this, but I really think it's really important to do that, because when there's so much creep spread in the early game, that means there's just so much more creep spread in the late game, and you don't want that as a Terran player. And now with the Zerglings moving across the map, the Hellions are going to have to retreat, at least temporarily. We do have a scan going down, able to spot both of the evolution chambers, but not much else. But for consolation for Taeja, we do have the third base up and running now. That Zergling was burnt. I'm not sure if it caught sight of that orbital command. But it looks like Taeja is going to be going mass barracks now. We've got 2 more barracks online, almost finished, as well as the starport. So we're about 12 minutes into the game, and we really haven't seen that much action. Both players are just building up an armada, getting ready to blow each other's smithereens. But is this going to play a crucial role in the outcome of this game? We do have a Spire very close to the natural of Life. And is he going to be able to do anything with it? Now, we do have a counterattack by Life as well against Taeja's third base, so he's able to confirm that expansion is there. But the Zerglings are no match for so many Hellions. Even without the blue flame, these Hellions do substantial damage to light units. And I think Taeja smartly is going to put down that third bunker. But as I was mentioning before, we do have that Spire half done now. So it'll be interesting to see if we're going to see a ninja attack with Mutalisk from Life hitting Taeja. Because Frost does have a lot of ridges, and they do have small, narrow pathways as well. So air units can be quite effective on this map. And Mutalisks innately are very quick, and you also do have to remember that, obviously, there are lots of ramps around the main and the natural as well. So Mutalisk might not be a very bad play here. Now, we are getting 2-2 upgrades for our Terran player. We're only getting... Oh, we're getting 2-2 as well for Life. He's just a moment behind. So this is interesting to see. Both players are really up on the upgrades. They're really paying attention to their upgrades. And now it looks like Life's creep spread is going to be minimized here by the incoming stimmed Marines and Hellions. It looks like the Banelings are going to come in here. The Zerglings are going to try to surround. They're going to be able to get a pretty good surround. The Banelings are blowing up. A lot of the Hellions do go down. And the medevacs are able to evacuate 15 Marines and boosting away at least safely into the air. But I think Taeja did suffer quite a few losses there. Resources lost is quite even. But you have to remember, as a Zerg player, when you're up 1 base, you can afford to lose quite a few more units than the other player. And it looks like we do have 9 Mutalisks on the way. And so I think Taeja would really like to take that confrontation pack. He is retreating. We do have mines in this composition now. No more Hellions. Hellions do go down to Banelings quite easily. And at the same time, Life is continuously spreading that creep as well. So he is doing what he can to get that purple goop across the map. We are going to get another surround in the middle of the map. The Banelings are coming in right behind. The mines do burrow. The Banelings have to be very careful here. Just scooting out of the range of that mine, so a lot of the banelings do survive, but these two queens will get picked off, and if a scan does go down, Taeja will be able to clean up lots of this goop, but it looks like with the reinforcing Mutalisk, Taeja is going to back off at least for a little while. Both of the mines are picked up. Very interesting play by Taeja, opting to put them in that medevac to save them, and it worked out, so good play by Taeja. But I'm kind of worried for our Terran player, even though he's still solid. He's got 3 bases. You have to understand that Life is getting his 5th base. And if this goes on undetected, I think Life might have a very, very good chance to win this game. Taeja is going to take control of that North Zelnaga tower. Life's going to take control of that bottom one. And it looks like we are going to see a confrontation of Mutalisk taking some fire from the hail of fire from the Marines. But it looks like Life might be going around the left side of the map. That lone Marine able to detect it immediately, but Taeja is preoccupied. He is going to stampede onto that Zerg creep, able to clean up a lot of those creep tumors, but at the same time, he's not really doing a lot of damage. But Life is going to move right into those 3 Widow Mines, and all the Zerglings basically get blown up for the low cost of nothing. So, unfortunately for Life, I think he had the right idea, but he didn't have any Overseers, and he didn't bait the Widow Mines, and now it looks like that attack force has been totally cleaned up, and it looks like Taeja is going to go for the counterattack of his own. He is going to clean up a lot of creep on the south side of the map. The Widow Mines are going to do a lot of splash damage as well. The Mutalisks are coming in here behind the Banelings and Zerglings. The Banelings are getting some good connections, melting away about 20 Marines. And now all we have left in this composition for our Zerg player are Mutalisks. We do have a few Zerglings coming in here to try and defend against that Marine and Marauder build, and Taeja is going to have to retreat at least temporarily. Losses are mounting on both sides, but Taeja does have the slight upgrade advantage speed. So in about 2 minutes or so, he will have an upgrade advantage for about a minute. And I think Taeja can really capitalize on that, and he might be able to deal a really critical blow at that time. Right now, they're both at 2-2. But as the Terran player, if you're engaging the Zerg player on the creep, obviously you're at a huge disadvantage because Zerg creatures are just so much faster. The Banelings are able to roll into the units so much easier. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen here. Now, resources are mounting on both sides, and Life's 5th base is up and running, but unfortunately, the creep might give it away. Yes, Taeja is going to be able to stim in there with a small group of Marines and Marauders, focusing down on those drones. That hatchery is not going to survive. Life notices it, cancels that extractor. Why not? Save a few resources. That hatchery is going to go bye-bye. So Taeja able to deal a significant economic blow to Life. And it looks like now Taeja is looking for even more Zerg blood. He is going to be stampeding to the south base. The Zerglings are retreating temporarily. The Mutalisks are able to pick off 1 medevac. So nice pick off by Life. Unfortunately, the Widow Mines are in position now, and they are going to be slowly creeping ahead. And with those drilling claws, they're so much faster. The Banelings are going to get blown up, but it will activate at least one of the Widow Mines. More Banelings are destroyed, able to pick off a few Marines. And now with that lone Thor in the back, might be able to do some significant damage to those Mutalisks. The Marines are buffering that Thor, and those Banelings are not able to get very good connections. And now the Marines and Marauders are right behind that mineral line. Drones are dying as well as that Spine Crawler. So action just happening everywhere on Life's side of the map, and this is very bad news for our Zerg player. Now, both players are maxed out, but you have to remember, Taeja does have that 3-3 upgrade advantage over Life for the next 20 or 30 seconds or so. The Ultralisks have been scared away. Life is just retreating back onto the creep. He needs that Zerg creep speed boost. The Ultralisks are able to come in here, able to chew away a lot of the Marines. Now the Marines do have to stim back. They're able to do significant damage to the Ultralisks in return. And once again, Life is going to retreat back onto the creep. Now, 2 of the Ultras are really deep in the red. 1 is going to die. The second one does go down as well. We have 3 more Ultras to defend this area as well as Mutalisks. The Thor is blown up. And finally, Taeja is forced to retreat. He is going to boost away with all his medevacs. Able to pick up that 1 lone Thor as well. But the Mutalisks are right behind on their tail. And so these medevacs might not be able to make it. I think half of them should be able to make it. There we go. I think 2 or 3 did go down. The rest are going to be able to boost away. So Taeja able to even up the bases 4-4. So I think this is really going Taeja's way. If he's able to continuously do this, then I think this game is going to be his. Scan does go down for Taeja. Now he's just marauding around the middle of the map. He does have a 20 supply advantage over his Zerg player. Now, Life is going to try and get that 5th base. Instead of opting for the base over to the west, he is going to go to the north. I think that is a wise choice. But Taeja will probably be looking over to the right very soon. But at the same time, Life is going to try to send a small contingent of Zerglings and Banelings and try and do some surprise damage to this planetary fortress. I think that is a wise move. We've also got Zerglings to the right of Taeja's 3rd base. But at the same time, Taeja has burrowed 4 Widow Mines right behind this drone line. So drones will be going down over time. Now it looks like this bunker will be repaired. At the same time, we have the Banelings able to do some damage to these SEVs, but not really that significant. So both attacks, surprise attacks, were not successful. And at the same time, Taeja's Widow Mines have now resupplied themselves, able to pick off a few drones, as well as taking some pot shots at these Ultralists. And if you take a look at the resources, Life is just down by so many resources. So even if Life is able to deal with this army, can he deal with the next one? I really, really doubt it. We do have Broodlords coming up. The Fungal Growths are able to get a whole bunch of the Marines caught, but there are no Banelings to make some good connections. And with those Broodlings not finished yet, Broodlords, excuse me, it looks like they will go down. The Marines are focusing down on the Mutalisks. Another scan does go down. The Broodlords are not going to finish. All 3 sacks are destroyed. We have 1 more sack left. The Ultralisks are also being destroyed. Looks like 2 of the Broodlords will be able to form, but they're not really taking advantage of that range. And it looks like Life is going to tap out. So after a 20-minute game, Taeja is able to take game 1 very convincingly. It's very interesting because both players opted for that very macroeconomic style game. And I think we expected that from Life. We saw that in all his victories against Patience in the previous round in game 1, 2, and 4. But for Life, I mean, you're down, you lose 2 games to 0 in the previous round against Taeja. You come back from the losers final to meet Taeja again in a rematch in the grand final. And it doesn't seem like anything that he's throwing at Taeja is working. So he will go down in game 1, once again, 2nd time in this tournament. So it'll be interesting to see what Life can do to turn it around. Otherwise, this might be a very quick series. And I think we want to see more games than fewer games. So we'll have to head over to game 2 to see if Life can bounce back or if Taeja is going to keep his stranglehold on our Zerg player.